Hi, my name is Jada Wright, and I'm in my third year of my middle years education degree. I have spent the last 7 years as a substitute educational assistant in the Southeast Cornerstone School Division. It was in those years that really inspired me to want to become a teacher, and yeah, here I am, 3 years in. I'm grateful for the opportunity to talk about strength based approaches to education. And I believe that that comes with spotting the gifts that your students have. We should be commenting every day and often on the strengths that they have, encouraging them to be their best selves opposed to being the best they can be. If we teach the kids or the students that everybody is different. Everybody's level of success and standard for themselves is different. And if they can just be the best that they can be, instead of comparing themselves to the other students in the classroom, then they will find success. I think it's important to encourage students to make mistakes because that means that they're trying and they're out there and they're giving it their best, and nobody succeeds every time, right? It's a part of life. It's lessons that they have to learn. When it comes to creating a welcoming and inclusive classroom, I think this is something that I'm going to really succeed at. When I graduated high school, I wasn't ready for post secondary at all, but I had such a desire to see the world and to travel, and so that's what I did. I left. And I went to Australia first, and then I'd been to some other places. Turkey was my favorite, and Ireland. But I guess I learned early on that I love traveling for people. It wasn't the history of a place or the monuments or the buildings or the architecture. Like everybody has a different thing that they love, but I absolutely love traveling for the people and learning about how they perceive the world and different ways of life, and how just like what I knew for 18 years is not the way the rest of the world does it. And so I think because our classrooms are so diverse these days, I'm really excited to learn about my students and to make sure that they can celebrate themselves, and that we should all celebrate each other and just learn different ways of approaching life. And like, yeah. I think being genuinely curious about our students' lives, whether they're a farm kid and they, work around cattle all the time, or they moved over from India, or they're a first generation Canadian or something. I don't know. Being genuinely curious about our students' lives, and the things that they have to say and they're excited about, and really let them feel like they're teaching you something, and just educating you about how they go about life and get through their days. That kind of ties into building your relationships with your students as well. Something that I really like doing as an EA is like playing with the kids, like letting that the adult demeanor, I guess, and like letting your playful spirit shine and come out, and like just have fun with the kids. Like if you go out and you play with them, or you build a fort in the winter, and it's, so they're not all, especially in middle school, they have to go out and they just kind of stand around and they huddle and wait for the bell to ring and go back in. But if you can go out and have fun with them, then they start opening up and you start learning things about them, and you start realizing their strengths as well, right? Like you can, really, that's when you can help positively encourage them and reinforce their strengths and say, hey, like I saw you do that, like that was really cool how you did that, or that was really nice that you did this. And you just get to know them on a different level, rather than teacher and student. Like you must learn from me, and that is our only relationship that we're allowed to have here. When it comes to people who have inspired me professionally, the first one that I want to talk about, it's actually two people, were my basketball coaches in high school, Mama Potts and Mrs. Potts. So they were a mother-daughter duo. Mama Potts was a social studies teacher, and her daughter was the phys ed teacher. And so they were my basketball coaches, and they right away picked up on my leadership abilities before, like, I didn't even know about them. And so they really let me know that I had that ability and where my strengths were. I joined the team in grade 10, so there was two, like, grade 11 and 12s. So they were the captains, but they, and now, like, that title isn't important, but they definitely let me know how the other teammates followed me and how I inspired them and motivated the team. And they just told me right away, here's your strength. You are a natural born leader. We need you to take on that role and to inspire the rest of your teammates. If it wasn't for them, I maybe wouldn't have known that about myself so early on. And just a little story, I guess, is they always opened up the gym Tuesday, Thursday mornings before school for morning shooting, they called it, like where you go and you work on your shots because you don't always have time in practice. And they'd been doing it for years, and they said, like, you'd have one or two people show up, and that was that. But I always went, and I always encouraged my team to go, and we pretty much had an entire team there every Tuesday, Thursday, and sometimes it was maybe just me in there, but I was leading by example, I guess, and they let me know. They said, this has never happened in our years as coaches before, and everybody is coming in and working on their shot, and our team is better for it, and it's because you are leading and inspiring them to do it. So thank you. They thanked me a lot, and it gave me a nice, like, a power and authority as just like an awkward grade 10 student. And through my next couple years, it was just, yeah, it was so fun. I'm still really good friends with them now, and I'm just so appreciative for how they built me up. The other person who inspired me professionally is my Uncle Mike Merriman. He's somebody who, as a kid, I was kind of like intimidated around because he always asked why. Like, why do you believe that about yourself? Or, well, why are you doing it that way? Or, so why do you think you're not trying that hard in that class? And it just, like, really, it was always like those questions that I just didn't want to stop and think about or answer. I just was a generic middle school kid who was like, well, I don't know, that's just the way it is. But he always got me to think things through more. And yeah, he's a teacher. He's the director of education up in Nunavut right now. He's really he's done well. And he inspired me to be a teacher, and, like, just by when you would cut yourself down and you wouldn't believe in yourself, he asked you why, and he let you know that he believed in you, and why it was important for you to also believe in yourself, or to try a little harder, or to think about why you didn't like something. So yeah, he was my inspiration. As I become a teacher, I'm really going to play on my strengths, which are my curious spirit, my positivity, my enthusiasm, and my love for people, and including everybody. I love when everybody's brought together and they really feel like they're being a part of something. My desire to just learn about people is also a strength of mine. And another thing that I'd say is I have a pretty good ability to respond. I learned fairly early on being an EA that you don't want to get into a power battle with a student, especially in middle years. But staying calm and not overreacting, and just letting the students talk. They're going to make mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes. And I know what made me feel best after these mistakes, because you're aware when you make a mistake, and you don't need somebody else cutting you down or letting you know where you went wrong, because and talking it out, talking about it. Or if somebody's not ready to do something, they're not ready to do it, and you can't make them. I've learned that myself. If I'm not ready, I'm not ready. So responding to situations calmly and not always on your timeline it's important, and I think that's going to be good for me going forwards in my classroom. Thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate it.